Alright guys, brand new channel here, and this is our first video today. I would consider subscribing. It's going to be a lot of fun, just getting started. We're just going to be having fun with sports. I hope you guys enjoy this channel. A lot of predictions, opinions. I'll be like ranking a lot of stuff for sure. NBA, MLB, and NFL I'll be covering because, yeah, it's basically pro sports. That's what I am into. Baseball and basketball the most. I'm going to try and pick up a lot of football knowledge over time at least, but we're starting out with an NBA video today, and I do have some experience on YouTube. I made like 160 videos on my other channel. It was called Never Quit Nate, but I wanted to keep that name, so I edited the last channel's name and made this Never Quit Nate because I wanted to keep that name. But my other channel, I'll leave the link in the description. I'll also leave my Instagram link in the description. I want to update you guys with so much on Insta and my Twitter as well. If we could get some following there, then I'll start updating there. And today we're going to be talking about the top 10 teams in the NBA. I think this is going to be a really fun video because the NBA is just growing deeper. It honestly is. And I decided that how I'm going to do this is that we're going to actually start with the top and go towards the bottom. And it's going to be like I know it's always unclear, like, top teams, like, well, for what? We're going to be talking about, like, if the season comes back this season, and not, like, who's going to necessarily beat who, but basically who I think just, is the best for this year's playoffs, hoping that we have playoffs. So let's get started right now. Alright, so who is the top team in the NBA? It's the LA Clippers, who sit at 44-20, despite being not healthy and resting Kawhi a lot. Paul George missing the first couple weeks. They have not even had a flow, but there is so much great potential on that team that they have had put up the second best record in a tough and deep West, despite everything like not being all easy and just straight out for them this season. Everything's been difficult. 44-20. I think this wasn't even that hard for me, honestly. Clippers are the best team in the NBA. I don't want them to win the title. I'm a Lakers guy more than a Clippers guy, but I'm honest. Clippers, you're the best team. If you guys think that just because the regular season standings easily favor the Lakers, does that mean they're the title favorites? No, Clippers are. They're 2-1 against the Lakers this season. They didn't even have Paul George really in either of the two games that they won. He did play in the second game, the Christmas game, but he did nothing. They still won. And if it wasn't for Marcus Morris going like 0 for 10, now I'm not making excuses. The Lakers win was fair and square that third time, but Marcus Morris went 0 for 10 in that game that the Lakers actually won. And yeah, opening night, Kawhi just beat LeBron twice. Opening night and Christmas Day, 25-7 the Clippers are at the Staples Center. This team, I don't think anyone can hang with them come playoff time. I think they are the best team. Number 2 has to be the Lakers, right? Wrong. It's the Bucks, 53-12, despite losing their last 3 games. This is like just clearly the best team in the East. There's a lot of separation now. The Bucks 28-3 at home. That's the second best home mark in basketball, and they're plus 11.2. Plus 11.2. That is insane. Giannis is going to win league MVP, obviously. That guy is just the most dominant player in basketball. I'm not quite going to say who's the best player today, but Giannis is the most dominant player that this game has, and the Bucks just being clear favorites in the East. But, overall, I don't think they would beat the Clippers if that was the finals matchup. But I do think that they'd have the edge over the Lakers, which Bucks-Lakers would be just a lot of fun, though. And Bucks and Lakers have split their season series. All right, number 3. Now it has to be the Lakers, right? That's right. 49-14. They are just easily the number 1 seed in the Western Conference this year. That's the bottom line. They're number 1 seed and have been pretty much right from the beginning. They actually have a better road clip than home clip, which I like in a team. If you have the ability to win a lot on the road, I don't think any team actually has an advantage going on the road. Like, I think some of it just happens to be that way, but if you have a better road record than home, then obviously you have ability to win on the road in big games. They just beat the Clippers and the Bucks the final weekend before that Wednesday that we shut down the league, and yeah, that was a huge weekend for LeBron James, the second best MVP candidate for this season. There's so much to say about the Laker-Clipper rivalry, and it's going to be so fun. This should be happening in like 2 months. We should be 2 months away from Lakers-Clippers right now. Actually, like, a month and a half from conference finals. But no, we're not. If there is ever conference finals, then we're still like 4 months away from them. Yeah, Lakers are your third best team. That's a clear top tier. Those top three, that's a tier right there. Now we're moving on to this next tier. Really, the whole like 6 through 9, 4 through 9 is like a whole tier in my opinion. But the top three, it's all about the order, not really who it is. You guys probably knew who the top three was going to be. I don't think anyone thinks otherwise. Those are your top three finals best team candidates. All right, so 4 and 5 are very difficult for me, but I'm going with Toronto. Despite not having like a mega star, Pascal Siakam is like giving them enough star power, and they're 46-18 on the season. That is and they've been unhealthy too, and it's been legit too. Like if you look at their plus minus 6.5, second best in the Eastern Conference, actually tied second best in the NBA with the Clippers. The Bucks have actually tied fourth best because Bucks, Lakers, then Raptors, Clippers. If we're talking plus minus average for a game, yeah, the Raptors have been unhealthy. Siakam missed time, Lowry missed time, best two players, and even outside of that, Van Vliet's missed time. This team is championship tested. That's why I'm slightly putting them ahead of the team that I have number 5. Championship tested, and they have the ability to win on the road as well. They're 23-9, both at the Scotiabank Arena and outside of it. Let's get on to number 5, a team that was very tight with Toronto in these rankings. I originally had the team that I have at 5 above Toronto, but I switched it to have Toronto at 4. After looking at it more deeply, I was like, nothing that they're doing is a fluke. All right, so who is that number 5 team? It's Boston, a team that played Toronto on Christmas Day and beat them by 20, but Toronto didn't have Siakam in that game, and Boston leads Toronto 2-1 in the season series, but Boston's had better health, and 2 of them were in Boston. But Boston is 3 games back of Toronto in the standings. They sit at 43-21. Yeah, they have been healthy, but Tatum keeps rising. This is a top 5 team. I do think that Toronto and Boston are both above all those mid-playoff West teams, even though it's close. I do think that 3 of the top 5 teams in basketball are from the East, in my opinion, which is surprising, but it'll make sense as we go down further through this list. But yeah, these teams, if the playoffs happen and there's no major upset, this is a second round 2-3 matchup, Boston at Toronto, and they've never played each other in the playoffs through the whole decade, where everybody was both of them were very good, and it's just been a surprise that they haven't faced off, but they will this year if things happen as we hope. Alright guys, hope you're enjoying my first video so far halfway through. If you are, make sure you give me a like equals motivation, and hit that subscribe button now that you know what I'm bringing, because you won't want to miss out, because I'm going to bring you a lot of content and rapidly improving content as I learn more about both sports and YouTube growth and all that good stuff. Number 6, it's the star-powered team down in Houston, Texas by the name of Rockets. They are 40-24. They are actually the 6th seed, which would be really exciting if the season started right now, and the Rockets would have to battle from a 6th seed to and this team, 2 top 12 for sure, maybe top 10 players in the NBA, should not lose in the first round. They haven't really clicked all year, and that's just been the general feeling. So to still be 40-24, I think that the star power is going to be there, and I think they are definitely the top threats to the Lakers and Clippers when it comes to that as far as the playoffs are concerned. They are 2-1 against the Clippers this year, and I want to say they've split with the Lakers. At least their last two have been split. But I like the Rockets as being that third team in the West, and it's going to be a tight battle for them. But I like what they bring to the table. Even their small ball, I think they can win a series. It's going to be a dogfight, though, for sure, because they're in the same tier with pretty much everyone down to 9. So one of those teams in the same tier as the Rockets, number 7, Denver, 43-22. They are the 3 seed, and that is not a fluke. They were the 2 seed last year at 54 wins, and they're playing at just about the same pace this year. They're 2-2 versus the Rockets, and the home team has won every game in that series. So if the season, if they start the playoffs with what the bracket is right now, Houston-Denver is the 6-3 matchup. That's the best 6-3 matchup in the history of basketball, because that would be so close. And it would be a home-dominated series, in my opinion, as well, or just based on what we've seen by both of those teams through the season. They do lack a bit of star power up top, and that's why I think I give Houston the advantage. I think that Westbrook-Harden duo is great for the playoffs, but I think that Denver is a bit better than these next two teams, but it is a dogfight. The middle of the West playoff teams. So good, so close. All right, number 8, Mavericks. Surprise? Maybe. That they're this high. 40-27, they're the 7th seed, and it's their first year of relevancy. But hear me out. They're 2-9 in games that have been decided by 3 points or less, and they have a plus-minus of 6.1. That is way better than any of the non-Laker Clipper teams in the West. I almost had the Mavs at 7 or even 6. Heck, even 4, but maybe even 5. But I have them at 8 just because it is their first year and they don't have experience at all. But that they have a great duo there with Porzingis and Luka. That is the best. So I have them at 8 in this list when they're a 7th seed in their conference. But I have them as being like the 5th biggest threat. It's going to be really... But the problem is they're a 7th seed. And so if the playoffs do start with the current bracket, then they have to face off against the Clippers. So good luck with that, because that's my top team. But this isn't about that. This is about just bestness. And I think the Mavericks are like, if they had a better seed, they'd be a prime contender to win a playoff series because of that 6.1. They are 2, and the 2-9 and the 3 or less, I do perceive that as a good thing in terms of how good they are. I think that they need to work on that. Absolutely, they need to learn to close games, but it just shows if they were... But a lot of that is just like luck, and they've just fallen just short so many times. Just one extra basket in a few games, and they could be the West's number 4 seed. Like, Dallas scares me. All right, number 9, another team very close, but they fit right in the mix. I just don't see anything absolutely special, and that's the Utah Jazz at 41-23. They're the number 4 seed. That's a good seed to have in the West. They'd be hosting the OKC Thunder if the playoffs started with the bracket that it is now. Yeah, they're right in the mix. There's not a ton to say about this team, besides they're the ones who caught Corona first. This team has faced off with the Rockets in the playoffs the last 2 years, and Houston has easily eliminated them. So that's kind of part of the rip on them, to put them down at 9, if you consider 9 a rip. I think it's right where they belong, at 9. I've always been pretty high on this team. I had them coming in at 2 in the West going into the season. But other teams have been really impressive in the West. Utah's just about what I expected, to be honest. A 4th seed that should finally win a playoff series if we are to have a season. So the hardest one to pick of all was the last one, number 10. So it's the Philadelphia 76ers. that I have at getting this last spot. So Sixer fans, like, I feel like they're delusional a lot of the time, and I feel like they would be, like, mad at me for putting them at 10th, but the answer is they should actually be thanking me a bit that they're not 13, because there are 3 teams that have a better record than them that may feel a little snubbed out of this list, and that's the Miami Heat, the OKC Thunder, and Indiana Pacers. But those teams, like OKC and Indiana, I feel like they are what they are, and that's just not quite a top 10 team. OKC, like Indiana, they're just like, they're a good team always, just not quite top 10 material. OKC, 40-24, fifth seed in the West. And they've just been getting better as the season goes on. I just don't think that the star power is enough for OKC. But Miami, that might feel a bit snubbed out because they're like really close to the 3 seed in the East, and they have the ability to beat Milwaukee. But that record is indeed a fluke. If I'm right that they're 41-24, I think that's what I just saw. That is a fluke because they have an insanely good 8-1 record in games decided by 3 points or less, and I want to say 4-0 in overtime. And Philadelphia, I know they're a 6 seed right now, and they're not as good as they were last year. That's why they're number 10 and not number 5 or whatever, 4 or whatever they were caliber of last year in the playoffs. But 29-2 at home, and the star power up top, the potential is there for Philadelphia over these 11, 12, and 13 teams. But next year, man, these rankings are going to be so incredibly deep because the Nets and Warriors will become relevant, and teams like New Orleans, Portland should be better. The rankings are going to be so hard to make next year. Like, we're literally going to be calling the 17th best team good. Like, that's just what it is. If you actually watched this video, my very first video, thanks so much for doing so. And again, give it a thumbs up. How do you like these rankings? I want to hear. We could argue. We could debate. Sports debates are good. I'm cool with that. It's something that I love doing. That's why I started a sports channel that is definitely going to have a lot of predictions and rankings in it. So you get the heck in the comments below and tell me what the heck you thought of these. Coming up very soon on this channel, I'll be doing my full MLB standings plus awards, perhaps playoff predictions for this season that we hope happens. Hope everyone finds enough things to do during the coronavirus, and hopefully sports could actually be back happening. But for you sports fans, I want to keep talking about sports through this era for you guys. Like, we love sports, no sports to watch, but I think it helps to just, keep talking about sports. So that's why I made my first video today, and there'll be plenty more to come without much waiting for you guys.